Hey guys, so on my last video I had mentioned something about I thought that maybe I was getting some blow by on my piston and ring. So in this video I'm going to be working on taking my cylinder off and double checking, because it hasn't been but about 2 months since I put a top end on this thing. But every time I take my spark plug out and check it, no matter how much I lean this bike out, like it looked like I had a fouled plug. I mean, the bike was running great, it just looked fouled. So I suspect I'm getting some blow by. So I'm gonna tear this thing apart and check into it and see what we got. I'll try to see if I can't get this thing set up to where I can get all this in this video and hopefully find the problem. Alright guys, as you can see, I've already got one side of my radiator pulled off. I've got all my plastics and seat and all that stuff off. I'm gonna jump on this other side here, take this other side of this radiator off, and then we should be able to start taking this bracket here loose and start taking these bolts and stuff out and get this cylinder off. So we'll get to it. Alright guys, just to give you an idea of what I've got here. And since my knee injury, I've not really I've not rode any. It's been 3.5 weeks, going on 4 weeks now. But this is what I've had going on. Show you how dark. So I'm hoping that I have a blow-by issue, and maybe a set of rings will fix it. So we'll see. Give you an idea what it looks like here. That's a little bit of chipping there, but I believe that was there on the last time. I kind of smoothed that out a little bit with sandpaper, so I think that is okay. sleeve I got here. Okay. All right, guys. So now I got the cylinder head and the cylinder over here on the table, and I didn't really get to clean my bike as good as what I'd like to before I got to do this. Like I said, I had wrecked it and messed my knee up pretty good, and just really hadn't got to, be able to do anything with it. And then these last few days, the weather's kind of been a little bit crazy, so and with all the COVID-19 stuff going on, I just finally got stir crazy. I had to come out and start working on this thing. But what I like to do before I really start doing anything, I take a drill and I just got a brush on it, and I just like to get as much dirt off here as I can, clean it up really well. I'll show you in just a minute here. I took some rags and stuffed in around my piston on the bike so nothing could get down in it, and cleaned off the surface around it pretty good so nothing gets down in my motor and really screws anything up. But I'll just show you real quick. I like to just kind of I've already done some of the cylinder here, and it gives it a little bit of a shine. I mean, you can see a little bit there what I've done on this side. But I'm gonna finish this up here, and then I'm gonna try to start I don't really have the extendable micro measuring tools to actually really measure my cylinder. And I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try to come up with something and see if I can't get a fairly decent accurate measurement on it, and then go from there and see what we can do. And two, guys, on the bottom of your cylinder here where your head gasket's at, you want to make sure, like right here, I don't know if you can see that little black spot there, that is a piece of gasket. And before this thing goes back on, you've got to make sure that all of that is off. Even if you have to take a razor blade and scrape it off. But I have found that this right here works just as well. I think that'll do it. Alright, so now I've got the cylinder cleaned off. Cylinder head is cleaned off pretty decent. Normally what you would do, you would take a digital caliper, and you need some extendable bore gauge tools to get down in the middle of here and get your measurements. I have some on order. I haven't got them in yet. But just to see if I think I'm close, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get 4 different measurements. Normally you would get 6. So you would do front to back, on the top, middle, bottom, side to side, top, middle, bottom. You would add all those up, whatever your measurements are, add all those up, and then divide that by 6. And that would give you your total size of your bore. And then you would know from that measurement whether you need to send this cylinder off, if you want to get it replated, honed, whatever. And then you would know what size piston you could get. I've already done my measurements, so I'm not going to bore you with me sitting here, taking my digital caliper here and getting these measurements. I'll just tell you what I got. So front to back here, on the top, I got 54 millimeter even. On the side here, I got 54 millimeter even. If you see me looking over, I'm looking at my paper. I wrote all this down. Okay, so then on the bottom, front to back, I got 54.01, and then side to side, I got 54.01. So with that added up, it came to 216.01, and divided by 4, being the number of measurements I got 54.005. So I am perfectly within spec on my cylinder. My cylinder feels smooth. I can still see some really good cross hatching in there. So I think my cylinder is in perfect shape. So with that, like I said, I'm still going to wait before I make any final decision on what kind of piston to get or what size piston to get until I can get a true, traverse reading, complete reading on this. So we'll go over here to the bike. We'll try to get measurement of the piston, and then the way you do that, you get your piston measurements, both sides, add that up, and then divide that by just however many readings you got, or measurements you got, and then you take your bore measurement that you got, and you subtract your piston measurement that you've got. And I've got my manual printed off here of what that measurement is, how much I'm allowed to have to say whether I need to make some adjustments. So we'll go over to the bike here and get measurements of this piston. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you by making you sit here listening to me calling out these measurements for my piston. I'll get these measurements here, fast time, and then we'll get back over to the table here so you can see my measurements and what I've came up with and how I determine whether I need a new piston or not. So I've got all my measurements figured up, and unfortunately, and I guess this would probably kindly go back to me not double checking, before I put that piston on. I actually think I got just a very slightly smaller piston, because my measurement is, my piston cylinder and clearance on here, usable range is 0.052 up to 0.062, and the measurement that I got from my piston from my cylinder bore measurement is 0.046. So it's just slightly smaller, out of range smaller. So hopefully I'm going to go ahead and put a new piston in this bike. I was hoping that I could just get a new set of rings, but that's not going to be the case. So I guess I'll order me a new piston kit, gasket kit for this thing, and go from there. So guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope if you haven't learned anything, or if you know something that I could be doing better, please let me know. I have a passion for working on these bikes. I could tear them apart and just to put them back together. It's just, I find a comfort and a peace in it. So, I'm going to try to keep making videos, just doing just that. So, guys, please subscribe. I don't plan to have any special effects videos or anything that's going to be mesmerizing or whatever, but I do know that my content will be better, once that I'm able to start getting back on the bike. I'll be able to come up with some good stuff, and hopefully during that process, and while I'm going through my knee operation stuff, I'll have to lay low for a little bit, but hopefully we can get this thing fired up and going. So guys, I appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channel. You know, it's not much, but it's going to be, I do believe. So, all right, guys, peace.